Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. How you guys doing today? It is, well, in my time, it's a Monday morning after a really long weekend, and I'm waking up to go to work. But you know what? We vibe, we thrive, we continue to do what we need to do. And in the mornings, just like to do our morning devotions. So here we are doing morning devotions. Thank you for coming with me to this morning on the journey. Even though some of you don't even want to wake up, like myself. I didn't wanna wake up, so just the way it is. Actually didn't feel like doing it. Um, the reading itself I did and the little commentary, I kinda looked things up and everything about what this was. I felt like this time it was another one that I was kinda had to think about, and so it helped me out a little bit. But, let's go ahead and talk about it. This is day 104, 104 days into the new year. Um, yeah, in the middle of January, you know how it is. Here it is, Proverbs 14, 19 through 20 in the ESV. The evil bow down before the good, the wicked at the gates of the righteous. The poor is disliked even by his neighbor, but the rich has many friends. All right, let's go ahead and get through this. The evil, whoop, yeah, change that one. Bow down before the good, the wicked. It's just negative thing going on again here at the gates of the righteous. Um, this next one, this is a little different. This is a little different from what we've done before. I had to go, the contrast, or not the contrast, but the change in thought processes is a little different here. So I'm going to change colors for this whole thing. And the reason why I'm doing it is because it changes the feel is is changed a lot. Like the color. You see that? The highlight here? I go, I want to go like a gray. All right, I'll explain in just a minute, but this is the first verse. Verse 19 is pretty straightforward. The evil bow down before the good, the wicked at the gates of the righteous. And one of the things you have to realize is that just because you're wicked or being deceptive and manipulative and the evil, the wicked, that's basically what it is. You're doing things. Ultimately, what happens is you hurt yourself and you hurt other people. And with those kind of situations, in the long term, the evil okay, we'll just do short term. The evil and the wicked, in the short run, they may be successful in their endeavors. But what Proverbs or Solomon is saying here is that those don't last in the long run. And eventually, the evil has to abide by the good. And I keep on thinking of the first thing that comes to my mind is these post-apocalyptic worlds where humans are forced to use their based maybe this is like an American literature kind of ideal where good always succeeds in the long run. And what they're saying is that that evil will and the wicked will end up destroying themselves while the good will rebuild. And so see, this is where I needed help on, and even though I looked it up and stuff like that, I'm still processing this idea of in the long run, evil will bow down. It's not sustainable for sure. If you cannot have trust and like goodness in general, um, relationships don't last. And I guess first thing post-apocalyptic, and they always and the evil always try to find the places where good is to try to steal what they have. But even when they steal it, they ultimately use up what was stolen and have to go out and find it again. So it feels kind of parasitic where they run out of the good things that happened and then they have to go find another place where good people or good people who work together to form a good society or something like that. They come over there and take the resources from them because they themselves couldn't create the resources. Anyways, that's kind of like my general feel of it when I was thinking about it because I'm still processing it. But in toxic relationships, um, they do end up recognizing, and I'm making a leap. In toxic relationships, do they feel jealous of those who actually have good relationships? And I'm not saying that in good relationships there's no bad things that happen. I'm just saying that in good relationships they're able to talk things through and they're stronger for that even because they're accepting responsibility, they're being kind and compassionate towards each other in the end. Um, because again, we're humans and we have really base thoughts about life and we have our needs and everything. And so we're in a constant struggle with our bodies and our needs and our desires and everything like that. And so the Proverbs is basically saying here and that in the short term, there are wicked and evil people and stuff like that. And then ultimately at the end, they they're at they seek out and kind of recognize if they're being logical and stuff like that, that there is good and good, um, and that the people who are righteous and have good relationships and kind of have solid foundations are those to be respected. I'm not saying that they will change their ways of deceitfulness, and because again, that's their own mo, their mode of operation is that that's the way they are. Um, they themselves can change. It takes a lot of work. I don't. I'm not a counselor. One of the things about the good is that they just have to take care of themselves. They first have to take care of themselves and constantly defeat the inner battle of that rages within everybody, the sin nature that's in us because of the fall, Adam and Eve. Because we're ultimately born with the sin nature of being selfish, wanting to do our own things, our own carnal desires, and all that kind of stuff. And it takes a lot of work to try to be good and try to be righteous, try to live a life of wisdom and stuff like that. And so the Proverbs here, Solomon here is basically saying that the evil and the wicked kind of recognize in the end, that they have to kind of latch on to what is good. You can't have a society succeed without people who are doing good and people who are righteous and stuff like that. Ultimately, they'll be found out and they'll bow before. So it's a lot of these things are happening in the United States as things people are getting exposed for the things that they have done. And anyways, the next one is the poor is disliked even by his neighbor, but the rich has many friends. This is a social commentary of reality, and this is like thousands of years ago, thousands, couple thousand years ago when this was written. How that's why I put it in the gray because I was thinking like, oh, you have to be poor if you're poor. If you want a lot of friends, you have to be rich. You have to be poor. The poor are disliked by his neighbors and stuff like that. There's a lot of truth to that just in reality. It's not right that this happens because we judge by, um, in society, we judge by what we see. And that's unfortunate. And it goes back to some of the things I said in previous talks where um, that people will buy things to look a certain way so that other people could look on them in a positive light, like having name brand clothing, Jordans and stuff like that. And then people think that they're cool. They would drive around in their Mercedes or their BMW, and people think, oh my gosh, that's a rich person. Or they would purchase a big, gigantic flat screen TV just to show how much. How much clout they have, um, but in reality, they're poor because people understand in general that although it's not a deep or solid reasoning, it happens that people judge by how they look. And that's just a reality. And so if you look, and so the perception is if you look rich, look like you got it together, then you'll get respect. But if you look poor, um, and not together, you're looked down upon, and it's the reality of the world today. We do know that that's not God. What God looks at, God looks at the heart, and that's what matters. And some rich people actually realize that they don't care, which is funny. It's poorer people who try to look rich, while the rich people don't care what other people think. I got to get more statistics on this one, but the general feel is that they don't care, and so they dress down. They don't have to wear the fancy clothes all the time and whatever in public. It depends. I guess it depends. Whatever, but the idea is that we do judge visually. Unfortunately, we do that, and that's not how it's supposed to be. Anyways, that's how I feel about that one. Um, Yeah, again, that's as an educator, I kinda don't dress down too much. Um, like wearing I do wear T-shirts. I do wear T-shirts, but mostly I wear, like, collared shirts, like polo shirts and button shirts and stuff like that. Because in a part of me feels like in my position, I do have to look a little professional, but in general, teachers will dress whatever the heck they want. I don't know. Anyways, that's all I have for today. Um Yeah, I'm tired, but we vibe, we thrive. Hope you have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.